When I was told I'd got the TED Prize, it obviously wasn't the moment to ask for a villa in the Bahamas. I knew, but I knew it had to be something about compassion, because every single faith tradition has compassion, the ability to experience with the other, to put yourself in other people's shoes, at the absolute heart of their tradition. And yet sometimes you'd never know it, because people very rarely speak about compassion, and very often when religious leaders get together they talk about homosexuality, for example, or doctrines, and not about the golden rule. And it seems to me that that is what the world needs. We're living in a time of great international tension. We're bound together more tightly than ever before, electronically and economically, financially, politically. When something happens in Gaza, it's likely to have repercussions now in London and New York. So we need, and the religions that should be making a major contribution to this task of building a global society, a safe and viable, just world, are not. They're seen as part of the problem. So I wanted to make the compassionate voice of religion very clear and bring it to the fore of people's attention. We start, it's built in us to demonize people who threaten us in some way, or who seem to sort of endanger our own interests. People don't often want to be compassionate. I mean, sometimes when I'm talking about compassion, I see a kind of mutinous expression going over people's faces, because they know, yeah, this is what we should all be doing. But what's the fun of being religious if you can't sort of condemn other people or say that you're superior to them in some way? And it takes heart. We're very self-protective of ourselves and our own interests. And it's hard, constantly, all day and every day, as Confucius said, to put ourselves on the back burner, to dethrone ourselves from the center of our world and put another there. We'd rather, and that's why I think the religions have often stressed the secondary, less demanding parts of religion, like believing things or rituals, and taking away from compassion. And a lot of people just water it down, so that we talk very much about doing our good deed for the day, and then returning to our lives of greed and selfishness for the rest of the other 23 hours. All day, every day, as Confucius said. We've got rather strung up in the Western world on believing things, and that is a development that's rather an eccentric religious development. Most religions are religions of practice, that you learn about the doctrines of the faith by doing them, by putting them into practice, not by accepting them. So we've just tended to put compassion slightly to one side. We're not a very compassionate society. We like to think we are, but we're very prone to condemn and judge and demonize. And that's certainly very true in Europe at the moment. I'm looking at the rise of a very unpleasant form of fascism developing in countries like Holland, which was once a beacon of liberalism in Europe. So all the faith traditions are highly complex. They're multifarious. They don't just teach one thing. They teach a myriad of different things. And it's up to us to highlight compassion and bring it to the forefront in order to heal the divisions of our suffering world. We've got a choice. And there are plenty of unpleasant aspects in most of our traditions, be they religious or secular, which exclude and denigrate and hate and exalt the self in a form of national or racial chauvinism. That's in all the ideologies. But any ideology, it seems to me, that speaks of hatred today is failing the test of the time. It is to put yourself in the position of another all day and every day. It's summed up well in the Golden Rule. Do not do to others as you would not like them to do to you. That's one version. And that means that you look into your own heart and discover what it is that gives you pain, and then refuse under any circumstance whatsoever to inflict that pain on anybody else. All day, every day.